question is in relation to what the topic we just covered. Will the orientation to time affect one's ability? Spencer, you were talking about recognizing the cycle, and you sort of talked about forecasting the cycle. But if you are a four dominant, 5 dominant, or 9 dominant, and your time orientation is in the past, you see, will that? Well, of course it will affect. Oh. But you guys experience what effect has that had in helping persons to, what practices would be helpful to persons like that in being able to shift so drastically. I would even say, 1s, 6s, and 2s would even they would have an easier time. But my beloved 4s, 5s, and 9s, it's so difficult.
Like, look, take the 4. They may be focused on the past things that troubled them, the past things where they felt shame, but they also focus on the past happinesses. It's more of a struggle of not being in the present, because the 4 also goes to the future and what it could be like and what it should be like and an ideal future. So they do have the future in them. Where they struggle more is in the present. And the 5 is focused on managing the way they hold in too much. They're like overly self-contained, that they would sacrifice their arm to be free rather than sacrifice their way of thinking or doing things. So they might be avoidant as a defense strategy, but they're looking towards the future. And the same with the 9. But the 9 defense strategy is a form of denial, but it's doing something to make them feel better. Narcoticizing, sleeping, eating, getting an ice cream cone, talking to a friend, whatever it is the 9 likes to do to get out of the painful feelings. Because 9s, all gut types, have the fear of shame and grief and of paranoia, all at the same time, chaos. Because the gut type is the integration of the 3 centers. So the heart types are focused on shame and grief, avoiding them. And the head types are focused on fear and paranoia. So just by virtue of that, it's a single focus. It's powerful, but it's singular. Whereas gut types, it's all merged together. And that's why gut types get overwhelmed and resist, push away, push back, and want to have control of their environment and domain because they're flooded. Now, any person can be flooded, but those gut types are managing feeling flooded all the time and finding that singular thing that they need to do to get out of their overwhelm. Whereas the head types do that to get out of their chaos, and the heart types do that to get out of their emotional reactivity. So I think with the 4, 5, 9, I've worked with many of them. And one of the most important things for them to learn is that they manage the distress, especially if they have ADD or any kind of learning disability or assessing, evaluating, whether it doesn't really matter what it is. They are going to feel overwhelmed when they don't know where they're headed. So that's the past orientation you're talking about. So they would rather, it's an introverted tritype too, the 4, 5, 9. But all 3 types have a type of arrogance. The 4 is arrogant about their language abilities and their thing they do really well. And the 5 is focused on their ability to conceptualize and look at the big picture and the little picture and put them together. But both know they have other insecurities that is not easy to manage. So 5, it's that retentiveness. Like if you're really holding back and retentive, you're not in the moment. You're trying to manage your world to such a degree that you try to manage yourself. So the 5 becomes very retentive. The 4, on the other hand, feels the shame of emotional displays that erupt when a core fear has been triggered. And the 9's arrogance shows up in the way they have pride, that they have no pride. So 9s at first don't realize that they have ways in which they're doing what all types do, but they're more identified with their humility, and it's a defense of not knowing. So the arrogance around the 9 is, I don't have that problem. I just am easygoing. I just get along with everyone. But as we all know, they can suffer too with feeling overlooked and unseen. But the worldview of the 9 is that you have to go along to get along. But are they still really prideful about the things they do well? Absolutely. Are they aware that they're doing it? Absolutely not. So when you have the 3 together, you begin to see how the 4, 5, 9 can have this kind of arrogance as a defense strategy, as a way to manage the overwhelm of not knowing how they will be in the future. But anyone that has felt shame will always be afraid it'll happen again and try and organize things so it won't. So with ADD, that's pretty darn hard. So the only future idea, the forecasting that you're referencing, is I might show that at a time when it will hurt me. I will be seen as less than, and it will be according to the way the Tritype evaluates that. So helping them understand time in general, the way they do the past, the way they do the future, and how it's hard for them to be in the present. And because they're all withdrawn as a defense strategy, it's intriguing because the 4 is the withdrawn type in the moving towards center. So that's why there's the push-pull. And then in the 5, it's the avoidant type in the avoidance center. So they're really going to pull away unless they're social and they have a gift that they want to share, they'll overcome it. But they will know they're smart or they're competent. They just will be less inclined to show it unless there's an argument going on and the 5 has knowledge other people don't, and then they might say something. And then the 9 also, they're in the aggressive center, but they are the withdrawn type in the aggressive center. So they have that going on too. Qualities that you can discover through understanding the types at a deeper level are all wonderful. And relationship to time is a great point to bring up because types do have a relationship to time. And it can become quite specific with the Tritype as to how that operates. Some types can be so locked into a past shame that they can't move into a future experience. They'll just avoid that type of experience if they felt shame. If you felt shame when you were at the grocery store or you felt fear, you're going to avoid it in the future because you're going to try and forecast that you're safe in the world. Does that make sense? It's just hard being like, okay, let's just go to the grocery store and see if we're going to feel that way again.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I'll be writing notes on that all night. This is some crazy
and I'll put them in a blog for others. Yeah.
Please do, because not all of us have the gift for all of that.